I want to bring Tim in, and another whole twist on this is not just whether foreign ownership is good or bad, but we're starting to see in the developing world, a lot of the foreign investors are owned by the government. They are not private sector companies. Again, do we need a different set of rules for these foreign-owned, state-controlled companies that want to invest in Canada, in our natural resources, for example?
Well, I think we have to understand, as John was alluding to in the beginning, we need $600 billion. It's a lot of money, and it's not all going to come from private sector companies. There will be some state-owned companies. When we look at these state...
Sorry, why do we need all that money?
To extract, to develop, to input all of that into developing the entirety of all of our natural resources opportunity here. It's not cheap to take metal out of the ground, iron out of the ground. It's not inexpensive to extract oil from a seabed and send it out. It costs money. We don't have the money because we don't have the population. We don't have the companies. But I think when it comes to state-owned companies, so companies owned by the Chinese, companies owned by the Malaysians, we can't just de facto say no to them if they want to invest here. We have to be conscious, if we're going to do business with them, of our security provisions and protections. We have to be conscious of what they do in terms of transparency and accountability. Do they list themselves on a stock exchange? Because when you do that, that subjects you to a whole other set of rules. And I think we do have to have one set of common rules, and that is, as it relates to investing in Canada, that at the end of the day, Canada and the provinces can make a decision if it is not in their best interest to allow that investment. So I know Scott wasn't saying abandon it entirely. I agree with him on flexibility, but we do have to have some bottom lines, and that bottom line is if our security is going to be compromised, if there's a danger there, we have to be able to say no.
And one very quick postscript, if I may. Let's not forget, it's not all about us. This is a very
Correct.
Selfish conversation. What do Canadians want? What do communities want? You know what? Because of all this investment flowing back and forth, some of which means that jobs have been lost here and gone overseas. 2 billion people in the last 20 years have seen their standard of living doubled. It's not just about us. It's about what this is doing for all of the people in the world, many of them who are far, far poorer than we are.
And that is our discussion on trade and foreign investment.